Greetings, everybody. I am Play-Doh Stubbs, and welcome to Wolfinia. This is episode 249 of my Minecraft survival series, and we are going to start today's episode back here at the Eclipse Outpost because I have made some slight changes around here, but we won't be sticking around here for too long. That's the wrong way. We need to go down this way. I need to hit my button, flush my spawning platform. Woo! Now, you guys might remember at the end of last episode, we had some issues here as far as the sorting of our items goes. And I did play around with that in between episodes to hopefully fix it. That way we don't have to spend another full episode here. Now, as far as what I've done down here, I've just added another item sorter for emeralds, so we have another column of emerald storage chest. So now hopefully our emeralds will stay separate from everything else, but that wasn't the quote-unquote fix. That was just me setting my priorities. As far as fixing this goes, what I've done is made some changes as to how we introduce items into the sorting system. So, you can see items will now flow into this hopper rather than dropping straight into this one right here. And having this side feed does actually seem to help as far as getting our emeralds where they're supposed to be. But that wasn't the only change I've made. I've also made some changes down here as far as how we're elevating items up into the storage area. So I'll go ahead and show you that. Actually, you can probably hear it. You can probably see it. Items are, in fact, going up a lot slower, and they're feeding into the storage system a lot slower, which means they're much more likely to get sorted properly. And I'm not just talking about our emeralds. We also had an issue with our non-stackable items getting put into the stackable items chest. But I think having, not this comparator clock here rather than the observer clock we used to have here, inputting our items much more slowly, gives our sorters time to actually do their job and put items where they belong. This is fine. This is fine. So fine. That's not fine. That is crazy right there. Look at that. Anyway. Ow. We just did a raid, so let's go ahead and make sure that all the items we got from this raid we just did got put away properly. So, join me back up here at the storage system, and then we can see. So we have all our emeralds going into here. That's wonderful. We have all our stackable items in this chest. We skipped this one right here because these first two columns are just for emeralds. But you notice no non-stackable items are in here. Non-stackable items are making their way to the non-stackable items section, which I did clean out a little while ago. And I've also made some changes as to how we clean this thing out. So we're still sticking with the smelting system here so we can get some nuggets back for all of our items that can be smelted. But for everything that can't be smelted that we just want to get rid of, we can throw into this chest up here, which includes all our crossbows, not the axes though, those get smelted, but yeah, everything in there is good. We can unlock the hopper beneath it, and all of those items get introduced to our lava disposal system. So now we can just make sure we're throwing away what we want to throw away, right? But yeah, I think that's it for all the changes. Now, while we are here, I am going to do one more raid, just so I can enjoy this working at 100%, and then we'll move on to something else. So let this be a lesson to you. Let this be a lesson to me. Sometimes we just gotta slow down to make things work properly. You can have it done fast, or you can have it done right. Because for some people like me, there's no middle ground there. There we go. I think we can officially call the Eclipse Outpost our raid farm finished. But before we leave here, I just want to take one more look at it. Just bear with me for a second, because there's nothing wrong with stepping back to admire your work once you finished a big project. And the Eclipse Outpost here, this is a big project, you know? But I think I am ready to move on at this point. I know a lot of you guys are ready to move on, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to something else. Hey, you look after this place while I'm gone. Keep yourself out of trouble. Now, I know a lot of you folks have been interested in seeing some stuff happen with the Waterside District here in Wolfinia, and you know what? Me too. But we ain't doing that today, because we have one more thing we need to do before we begin working on Wolfinia again and start building up some new stuff. We have one more major repair to make, if we are indeed going to do a world tour next episode, and I think we probably are. Ow. Now we're going to need some help for today's project, and that's where the Ender comes in. Now I'm sure at this point some of you have a theory on what we're going to be working on today, and you know what, you're probably right. We're going to be making our way to Ender Island after I get some supplies, because we can't just head over there empty-handed, right? So we're going to be headed over to Ender Island and then make our way to Ender Island and then to the Ender on Ender Island to use the Ender to repair the Ender on Ender Island. Make sense? All right, well, we got everything we're going to need. Now it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away to another dimension. No, Cal. You cannot enter. This place is for authorized personnel only. And look at this. You're not authorized. Where's security when you need them, huh? My goodness. Ow! Ow! Ooh, boy. Coming to the end is never going to be pleasant again, is it? Anyway, onward to Ender Island. Now, this was one of our Phase 2 builds, which is built specifically for Phase 2 of Wolfinia. And unfortunately, that means it will not work at all in its current state here in Wolfinia Phase 3. First things first, you know what time it is. It's time to fix some chests. Dang it, I needed those. Where are my chests? There we go. And there's the easy repair done. The storage system for this place is now good. Now, as far as Ender Island goes, I'm going to try to keep it intact. I want to change it as little as possible while getting it at least somewhat operational. Because let's be honest, do I really need an Enderman farm? No, I don't. But you know what else? We got one. So we might as well have the one we got be working, right? Now, in order to have a working Enderman farm, we are going to need to have Endermen spawning at our farm, and they spawn differently now in Phase 3 than they did when we built this. We're going to want a nice solid floor here for the new version of this farm. We're also going to need to remove all this foliage, which as of now is keeping them from spawning. Alright, we got a little section put together that should be able to spawn Endermen. Let's go ahead and just make sure that is what happens here. Perfect, wonderful. Alright, now, another thing we're going to do is get rid of all these slabs along the edges here so we don't have Endermen teleporting to the edges. And Endermen are going to be teleporting all over the place. That is something we're going to address as much as we can anyway while keeping the structure intact. Now, we're going to want Endermen to go down the hole. That is the next step. We got Endermen spawning, now we need to get them to where we want them to be. Crap. Actually, I'm probably going to raise our spawning platform up by a block, that way our Endermen have a nice flat surface to walk on as they make their way over here and ultimately down here, because they're going to try to get to the Ender right here. Hey, y'all remember earlier when I was over here gathering supplies? I said we had everything we were going to need. Turns out we didn't have everything we were going to need. Ender capturing system is now in, and we have a visitor over here. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to vacate this area. No, this is the opposite of vacating. I'm going to have to make you go away. That's fine. We're fine. Got a little slime block down here. I can't get that slime block. That's fine. We don't need it. What we need is for this noise to stop, and then I'll get my endermite, which means I have to bash my face against this slime till one shows up. Hey, I got that slime block. Oh, hey, friend, hi. Ooh, boy, I'm glad you showed up when you did, because boy, do I have an opportunity for you. You are now the official Ender. As soon as I can get this name tag on you. Can you get to a more convenient location, please? That's fine. There we go. Now we need to get him in a minecart. And we're good. All right. Oh, yeah, and you can see the Endermen just go right after the Endermite. Fortunately, they don't have a clear path to where they need to be, but they'll have one eventually. We're also going to need to get rid of this glass platform. Hi. We're gonna need to get rid of this glass platform because the Enderman can teleport down to it, and we do not want to have a bunch of Endermen over here because that's pointless. That defeats the whole purpose of this thing. It's gonna be kind of a pain in the butt, but it's something that needs to be done. Now, as far as in here, I think we might be okay. I don't think they'll be teleporting out here to get me. But if they want to try, I mean, you know, that's something we can address when and if the time comes. All right, I've got my list of things that need to get done here at Ender Island. You guys know the deal. You know the plan. You know the project. At this time, let's go ahead and call the drone on out here. Put on a little bit of music and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. The Ender on Ender Island is once more operational, as you can see, with all these Endermen spawning in, going after the Ender, which of course ends the Enderman, as its name would suggest, which is wonderful. Now, as far as other changes we've made to this, you might notice we also shortened our glass bridge. Our platform around Ender Island no longer exists, which means Enderman can no longer teleport to it, solving that problem. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to reclaim many of the blocks, but you know what? That's fine. Now, we also flooded the entirety of the interior here, making sure this place is as inhospitable to Endermen as it can be, so they all go where they need to go. Now, it does look like I may have neglected to flood some parts. This place seems to have a little bit of a canopy over it. That's fine. I'll come in here in just a few minutes and fix all this up. Let's go ahead and see how this farm actually performs. Ooh, gotta be careful here. No safety net anymore. All right, so lots of Endermen, which means lots of Ender Pearls, lots of XP, and it's seeming like it's pretty continuous. It's seeming like we do indeed just have a never-ending stream of Endermen flowing in here. And that's wonderful. Because even though I know Endermen are still teleporting to teleportable spots around Ender Island, it's seeming like we're just getting a never-ending stream of them, which means like as much XP as I want, as many Ender Pearls as I could possibly want. Oh yeah! That's not gonna get old, is it? It might get a little old. You know what? That's fine. It's too loud. Oh, look at all that! Yeah! Now, before we get out of here, let me just go ahead and déchaîne le deluge, and then we'll be just about ready to call this thing complete. Now, look at this fella. This fella found a dry spot to get out of the rain, huh? Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Storm's coming! Now, hopefully, that takes care of all the dry spots on the inside here. There's probably still a few that I haven't come across yet, but, I mean, you know, regardless, the farm is working better than it ever has. We're getting non-stop stream of Endermen flowing through it, so we'll go ahead and call it good. Figured I'd go ahead and repair my tools before we get on out of here, and now that all my tools are repaired, we are good to go. Let me just go ahead and clean up my mess here. I'm guessing this side's completely full, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and just throw these in the last chest right here, and eventually we're probably going to need some kind of Ender Pearl disposal system down here if we decide to actually use this farm for mending and stuff like that, which is probably unlikely. But it's time to take a break from the noise and all the racket and go do something else. Now, we still have time for one more project in this episode, well, hopefully two, but the next one is another repair that just occurred to me that I want to get taken care of by next episode. And it is, yes, again, going to require us to name another mob. You guys know Sawyer, right? Yeah, of course you guys know Sawyer. I didn't mean to fall down there. Of course you guys know Sawyer, but you might be thinking to yourself, well, Sawyer's in there. Happy as a clam in the Timberland Tree Farm. But if you're familiar with Sawyer, you're also familiar with the fact that I like to have a backup Sawyer just in case. And our next project is our backup Sawyer system. Welcome to the Ghast Catcher. So for those of you not familiar, we are in the Nether, kind of by where Wolfen's Labs is. We built the Ghast Catcher in Phase 1 with the intent of capturing ghasts and bringing them to the Overworld. Now in Phase 1 of Wolfenia, this worked automatically, but it does not appear to do so, which is fine. We took a more manual approach during Wolfenia Phase 2. But this should work. Why is it not? Okay, there we go. Flying machine's fine. I just like lined the sides of this room with slabs, which was preventing it from moving because the slime was trying to drag it. But the fact that the flying machine is flying does bode well for having this system fully operational and automatic once again. We're just got to go back through this room, get rid of all the slabs, repair any holes in the floor and in the ceiling and in the walls that we find. We're going to have to put our return mechanism back in, because as of now, we don't have one. But now we do. A return mechanism is in. Hopefully it works. Let me go ahead and clean this mess up, get rid of all these slabs, and then we can give our flying machine another chance to work its magic. What the world? Why? Why do you refuse to work? Huh? Oh. I see. Scumbag brick. Fingers crossed, hooves crossed, whatever you got, pigman, cross them. Yeah, there we go, okay. So the piston kind of extends a lot, but you know what, it works. Not the most elegant solution, but it's fine. You know what, let's clean up this room before we take the torches out, because we got like pieces missing. We got lighting to wire up. I think I'll probably extend my windows here, make my windows a little bit bigger just so it's a little bit more comfortable for me. But you know, I'm feeling a little cramped. We can't have that, can we? No, we cannot. banging my head against the ceiling here. All right, we got some work to do. Let's go ahead and get it done. Alright, it is time to put our Ghast Catcher to work. Hopefully it still works. I'm riding the rail out here in the Nether to get far enough away from the farm. That way we can clear spawns and hopefully convince some Ghasts to spawn exactly where we want them to spawn. Now, sometimes this does take a couple tries, so I'm gonna ask y'all to bear with me. Never mind. It worked. It's fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. Alright, so we got our flying machine flying towards our new Sawyer, potentially our new Sawyer. We're not going to name him just yet because there's a whole other overworld side to this place that we still need to make sure is operational. But for right now, we just need to make sure that the Ghast does what we want him to do, which is not go through the portal on his own, but to get pushed through the portal by our flying machine because we didn't put this thing back together for no reason. So, moment of truth. There he goes, perfect. And then the flying machine returns. Wonderful. All right, so now we have the Nether section of this project completed. We can go ahead and check out the Overworld section. Although I guess we should probably wait for the flying machine to return before we head back through the portal, right? That's probably a good idea. All right. No, no, no. Stop. Stop! I can't even see what's happening here. Okay. Crap! No! This is gonna need some work. Stop it! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Alright, it's fine. This is fine. Stop it! I'm telling everybody this is fine. Just stop making a liar out of me. This is not fine. You know what? This guy just doesn't sound like a Sawyer to me. He doesn't sound like a Sawyer, so you know what? He's got to go, unfortunately. But that does give us some room to work here now. All right, let's make this place a little bit more comfortable for our Ghasts. We're gonna add lots of slabs, because if there's one thing Ghasts like, it's slabs protruding into their body, just jabbing them. Calms them down. Oh yeah, our next Sawyer's gonna like this. Plenty of slabs. Ghast loves slabs. Alright, and I've also gone through here and fixed everything that Ghast broke, because he did break some stuff, like this piston right over here. But I think we are good now. So, let's go back into the Nether and try this again. No, did you not read the job description? Clearly called for someone with jellyfish legs. None of y'all have jellyfish legs. Ridiculous. Oh, hello there! Alright, excellent, excellent. Alright, you're gonna be my new Sawyer. You as excited about that as I am? I am thrilled, to be honest with you. I am pumped. It is great to meet you. Hey, you're gonna feel a slight pushing on your backside, but don't worry, that's completely normal, it's completely natural, and it's gonna bring you to where you want to be. Or at least to where you have no choice but to be. You can be where Mr. Wolfens dictates you be. All right, Ghast is through. Let me wait for the flying machine to go back to where it belongs, and then we'll head on through. All right, be nice. Crap! You broke your portal, you idiot! Sawyer, stop it! All right, we're fine. He's got plenty of slabs. He's got his name tag. We are good. Well, as long as we got minecarts, we're good. We don't have any minecarts. Let me go grab a minecart, then we'll be good. Minecarts away. Ghast is captured. Though a little worse for the wear, but you know what? That's fine. I've seen worse. I'm sure this guy has seen worse. I mean, he grew up in the Nether, right? Okay. So now we know we have a supply of Ghast, should one be needed. Now, this would probably work better if I didn't come through the same portal as our Sawyers. You know, that way he doesn't shoot at me. Maybe if I had DD over here loading this area so the Ghast doesn't despawn, that's an option. That way my stuff doesn't get blown up. And to make things even more convenient, what we could do is run a line from our room here, like from this little control panel right here. We could run a line down to our minecart dispenser to automatically dispense a minecart capturing the Ghast. And that means we never even have to come in contact with it, which is wonderful. Boom, there we go. Capture entity. We now have a capture entity button, which causes a minecart to shoot out, capture our Ghast from the portal without us having to go in the room. So, that is this done, and that means Sawyer acquisition is another thing we can check off the list. But that's not all, guys, because there is one last thing I want to do before we call it for this episode. As I mentioned earlier, next episode, episode 250, will be our next world tour and our first world tour of Wolfinia in Phase 3. So, we're going to want to get some maps up here in the Explorer's Lodge, and we're also going to want to figure out where all of our lodge members are. Guys? Guys. Oh, that's not good. Guys! Guys! This isn't funny, guys. I don't know if you're just wandering around, but I mean, you shouldn't be wandering this far from your workstations. If you are wandering, this makes me worry that something happened to you guys. You wouldn't want me to worry, would you? I think something may have happened to our lodge members. I'm not seeing them anywhere here in the approach. Which is, I mean, needless to say, a bad thing. How are our other villagers? Is everybody... Okay, everybody in here is good. Alright, so... I don't know. I don't know. But everybody else seems to be fine here in the approach. These guys are good. I don't know, maybe all the Explorer's Lodge members just decided to resign? And if that's the case, I guess we can bring over some new cartographers and, you know, expedite their membership process, because we can't have this place empty next episode. And also, I gotta get some maps made. What in the world? Luna. What is Luna? These guys went crazy, that's what happened. I installed some gates here. Hopefully that's enough to convince our new lodge members to stay put. And also keep them safe while I investigate the approach and try to figure out what happened to our previous lodge members. But at this point, I do need to induct some new members into the Explorer's Lodge. I need to fly around, I need to make some maps, and just make sure everything is good for next episode. So, at this point, let's go ahead and put on some music and get to work. Hey! Which one of y'all wants a job? And that should just about do it. So we've got some new members over here at the Explorers Lodge, including some young ones. We've also got security now. We got a golem to keep them safe. As far as the map goes, there's a little sneak peek for you guys. You can see the rest next episode. I got all my stuff here, right? Yeah, we're good. That's what we're going to call it for this one. So next episode is the World Tour, something a lot of you guys look forward to, something some of us here in Wolfinia dread, but it's coming anyway. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more of Wolfinia, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Mission Dubious, and I will see you guys later.